Start small, be patient with yourself, ask for help when you need it, and never let anyone convince you that your age disqualifies you from living the life you want to live. Your independence is not just about you, it's a gift to your children, who will worry less when they know you're capable and confident. It's a gift to your community, which benefits from your skills and experience. And it's a gift to other seniors who need to see that aging with dignity and autonomy is possible. I think about Robert often, and I know he would be proud of the woman I've become since he's been gone, not because I don't miss him or don't need anyone, but because I've proven that the life we built together gave me the foundation to continue building even after he was gone. Today, at 83 years old, I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. I'm not just maintaining my independence, I'm celebrating it every single day. And if I can do it, so can you. Remember, independence isn't about age, it's about attitude, preparation, and the willingness to keep learning and growing no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. I reviewed the symptoms I was experiencing against the list I kept on my phone. I realized that the pain was likely related to the heavy lifting I had done earlier that day in my garden, but I also knew it was serious enough to get checked out. I called a rideshare service to take me to the urgent care clinic rather than calling an ambulance or waking up my children in the middle of the night. I brought my list of medications, my insurance cards, and my emergency contacts, all organized in a folder I keep ready for such situations. The doctor confirmed that I had strained a muscle, prescribed some anti-inflammatory medication, and sent me home. The point of this story isn't that I handled a medical emergency alone. The point is that I handled it competently, making informed decisions based on my knowledge and preparation rather than reacting out of fear or dependence. If it had been a heart attack, I would have called 911 immediately. If it had been something I couldn't handle, I would have called for help. But because I had equipped myself with knowledge and tools, I was able to respond appropriately to the situation. That's what independence looks like at 83. It's not about never needing help. It's about being able to assess situations accurately and respond appropriately based on your own judgment and preparation. I think about Robert often, and I know he would be proud of the woman I've become since he's been gone, not because I don't miss him or don't need anyone, but because I've proven that the life we built together gave me the foundation to continue building. Even after he was gone, Robert always encouraged my curiosity and my willingness to try new things. He would love knowing that I learned to use a smartphone, that I'm stronger at 83 than I was at 70, that I've made new friends and found new purposes. He would be proud that I didn't let his death become the end of my story, but rather the beginning of a new chapter. Today, at 83 years old, I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. I'm not just maintaining my independence, I'm celebrating it every single day. And if I can do it, so can you. The path isn't always easy, and it requires commitment and courage. There will be days when you feel overwhelmed, when you question whether the effort is worth it, when you're tempted to let someone else take over. But I'm here to tell you that your independence is worth fighting for, not just for your own sake, but for everyone who will be inspired by your example. Remember, independence isn't about age. It's about attitude, preparation, and the willingness to keep learning and growing no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. You have more control over your aging process than you think, and you have more to offer the world than society wants you to believe. Start where you are. Use what you have, do what you can. Your independent, purposeful, joyful life is waiting for you to claim it. I make my own decisions about how to spend my time, who to spend it with, and what risks I'm willing to take. When I need help, I ask for it, but on my terms and as part of a reciprocal relationship rather than from a position of dependence. My daughter Sarah still calls, but now our conversations are different. Instead of her checking up on me, we share our lives with each other. She tells me about her challenges at work, and I offer advice based on my experience. I tell her about my students at the Literacy Center, and she shares my pride in their progress. My son Michael still worries about me, but he's also proud of what I've accomplished. He brags to his friends about his mom who learned to use a smartphone and can do more on it than he can. The relationship with my children has become what I always hoped it would be, a partnership between adults who love and support each other. rather than a caretaking situation where one person gives and the other receives. Last month, Sarah called me for advice about a difficult situation at her job. She was dealing with a supervisor who was undermining her authority and making her work environment toxic. As we talked through her options, I realized that our conversation would have been impossible a few years ago, when she saw me primarily as someone who needed protection and care. Now she sees me as someone with wisdom and experience who can help her navigate life's challenges. Michael has started bringing his teenage son, my grandson James, to visit me regularly. James is fascinated by technology, and he loves teaching me new features on my phone while I teach him about cooking and gardening. These intergenerational exchanges have become some of my most treasured moments, and they wouldn't be possible if I were living in a care facility or if my children saw me as incapable of learning new things. If you're listening to this and you're approaching 70 or you're already there, I want you to know that your independence is worth fighting for, not because depending on others is wrong, but because choosing your level of dependence is a form of freedom that no one should have to give up because of age alone. The strategies I've shared with you aren't just about practical skills, although those are important. They're about changing the story you tell yourself about what it means to age. Society will try to convince you that getting older means becoming less capable, less valuable, less relevant. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. Getting older can mean becoming more focused, more skilled, more confident, and more selective about how you spend your precious time. Every morning when I wake up, I have choices to make. What will I wear? What will I eat? How will I spend my day? Who will I connect with? What will I learn? These might seem like small choices, but they're the building blocks of independence. Each decision I make for myself is a declaration that I'm still here, still capable, still growing. The technology that once intimidated me now connects me to the world in ways I never imagined. Just yesterday, I video chatted with my college roommate who lives in California, attended a virtual book club meeting with people from 3 different states, and ordered groceries that will be delivered tomorrow morning. The physical strength I built allows me to navigate my environment confidently. Last week, I rearranged my entire living room because I wanted a better view of the garden. From my reading chair, the community I created provides support and purpose. This afternoon, I'm teaching William how to make his grandmother's apple pie recipe, something his wife Emma had always done. Tonight, I'm attending a neighborhood meeting about improving sidewalk safety for all residents, not just seniors. The financial knowledge I gained gives me security and options. I recently decided to travel to visit my sister in Oregon, something I couldn't have planned confidently when I didn't understand my financial situation. The sense of purpose I cultivated makes every day meaningful. Tomorrow, I'll be at the Literacy Center working with 3 different students, each at a different level, each with different goals. Next week, I'm speaking to a group of new volunteers about working with adult learners. Next month, I'm attending a conference on adult literacy, where I'll learn new techniques to help my students. These 5 strategies didn't just help me maintain my independence, they helped me redefine what independence means at this stage of life. It's not about doing everything alone or never needing help. It's about having the tools, knowledge, and community to make informed choices about your life based on your values and preferences rather than your limitations or other people's fears. Independence at 83 looks different from independence at 33, and that's okay. I don't pretend that I can do everything I could do when I was younger, but I can do everything I need to do to live the life I want to live, and I can continue learning and adapting as my needs change. If there's one thing I want you to remember from our conversation today, it's this: age is not a disease to be managed, it's a stage of life to be lived. You have the right to live it on your own terms, in your own way, for as long as you're able and willing to do the work required to maintain that choice. The work isn't always easy, but it's always worth it, because at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow in your own bed, in your own home, having lived your day according to your own choices, there's a peace that comes with that no amount of external security can provide. So whether you're 70 or 90, whether you're just starting to think about these issues, or you're already deep in the middle of them, know that it's never too late to take steps toward greater independence. Independence That cookbook Eleanor loved but kept on a high shelf became accessible again. Photo albums that had been stored away came back into regular rotation. The kitchen received special attention because cooking remained one of my greatest pleasures and sources of independence. I installed pull-out drawers in the lower cabinets, making it easy to access pots and pans without bending or reaching. I switched to lightweight cookware and dishes, reducing the risk of dropping heavy items. The microwave moved from its high perch above the stove to counter level, and I organized my pantry so that everything I need is between waist and shoulder height. The seventh and perhaps most important adaptation wasn't physical but social, building a support network that respects my independence while ensuring my safety. This network includes immediate neighbors, family members, local service providers, and even the mail carrier who knows to check if my mail accumulates for more than 2 days. Margaret next door has a key to my house and checks on me regularly, but not intrusively. We have a simple system. I put a small American flag in my front window each morning to signal that I'm up and well. If the flag isn't there by 10 a.m., she knows to come check. It's subtle, preserves my privacy, and gives both of us peace of mind. I also established relationships with reliable service providers who understand my situation. My handyman Tom knows he can come inside to fix things even when I'm not feeling well. My grocery store offers delivery service, and the delivery driver always brings items inside and helps me put away heavy things. The pharmacist knows my medication schedule and calls if I'm late picking up prescriptions. But perhaps the most valuable part of my support network is the group of other seniors in my neighborhood who are facing similar challenges. We call ourselves the Friday Coffee Club. Though we meet every Tuesday at the community center, we share tips, look out for each other, and most importantly, we maintain our social connections and sense of purpose. These 7 adaptations didn't happen overnight. They evolved over months and years as I learned to balance my desire for independence with the reality of my changing physical needs. Each modification required me to confront my limitations while discovering new possibilities. The lighting upgrade cost me about $300, but gave me the confidence to move around my home safely at all hours. The grab bars were installed for under $100 but provided priceless security. The bathroom renovation was the biggest expense at around $2,000, but it eliminated my biggest daily fear and restored my enjoyment of basic self-care. More importantly, these changes allowed me to remain in the home where Eleanor and I built our life together, where our children took their first steps, where we celebrated anniversaries and holidays, where I feel most myself. Every family photo on the walls, every squeaky step on the staircase, every view from the kitchen window connects me to decades of memories and maintains my sense of identity and belonging. Living alone safely isn't about creating a sterile, institutional environment. It's about intelligent adaptation that preserves dignity while acknowledging reality. It's about making proactive choices rather than reactive ones. It's about understanding that asking for help and making modifications are signs of wisdom, not weakness. The young man who delivered my grab bars asked me if I was embarrassed about needing them. I told him something Eleanor used to say: pride is a luxury you can't afford when your independence is at stake. These adaptations aren't surrenders to aging. They're strategic victories that allow me to age in place on my own terms. If you're facing similar decisions, don't wait for an accident to force your hand. Start with lighting and grab bars because they're relatively inexpensive and provide immediate safety benefits. Build your support network before you need it urgently. Most importantly, remember that adapting your home is an act of self-respect and love for the people who care about you. Every night when I turn off the motion sensor lights and settle into my bed, surrounded by the safety features that protect me, I'm grateful for the courage to make these changes. I'm grateful for the technology that keeps me connected to help. I'm grateful for neighbors who care and family who support my choice to remain independent. At 83, I've learned that home isn't just a place, it's a feeling of security, comfort, and belonging. These 7 adaptations didn't just make my house safer, they made it truly home again. They gave me back my confidence, my independence, and my peace of mind. Most importantly, They allowed me to honor Eleanor's memory by continuing to live fully in the place we shared. For so many beautiful years, your home should be your sanctuary, not your adversary. With thoughtful planning, modest investment, and the courage to adapt, it can remain exactly that for as long as you choose to stay. The key is acting before you have to, adapting before circumstances force you to, and always remembering that a few simple changes can mean the difference between thriving independently and merely surviving each day. But let me tell you about the moments that really test these adaptations, because it's one thing to install safety features and another thing entirely to trust them. When your body fails you in unexpected ways. Last winter, during that terrible ice storm that knocked out power for 3 days, I discovered just how well my preparations would hold up under real pressure. The power went out at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. I woke up not to my usual routine, but to an eerie silence where the hum of appliances used to be. My first instinct was panic. How would my motion sensors work? How would I charge my emergency devices? How would I stay warm? But then I remembered Eleanor's voice from years ago when we'd weathered storms together. Robert, we've survived worse than this. Take it 1 hour at a time. The battery-powered LED strips I'd installed as backup lighting kicked in automatically. These weren't part of my original 7 adaptations, but they became essential after I realized that even the best-laid plans need contingencies. As I made my way to the kitchen in that soft, reassuring glow, I felt grateful for every grab bar my hands found in the darkness. Each one was exactly where muscle memory expected it to be. That storm taught me about the 8th adaptation I should have mentioned: redundancy in everything. That keeps you safe. My smartwatch had 48 hours of battery life, but I also kept a traditional emergency radio with hand crank charging. My medication organizer was electronic, but I also maintained a written backup list. My heating system was gas, but I had portable propane heaters as backup during those 3 dark days. My neighbor Margaret and I checked on each other twice daily. The little flag system we'd developed became even more crucial when we couldn't rely on lights to signal that we were okay. The community center opened as a warming station, but I was able to stay in my own home because of all the small preparations I'd made. I think about that storm often because it revealed something important about aging in place. You're not just preparing for your current limitations, you're preparing for the unexpected challenges that life throws at everyone, but especially at those of us who no longer have the physical resilience of youth. The week after the power was restored, I made additional modifications that I now consider essential. I installed a whole house generator that automatically kicks in during outages. I upgraded my emergency communication devices to include a satellite communicator that works even when cell towers are down. I added more battery backup systems throughout the house. These additions weren't cheap. The generator cost me nearly $4,000 installed, but it was worth every penny for the peace of mind. More importantly, it meant that all my other safety adaptations would continue working no matter what happened to the power grid. I also learned the importance of seasonal adaptations. What works in summer doesn't necessarily work in winter. Those motion sensors that seem so reliable can struggle in extreme cold. The grab bars that provide perfect grip can become slippery when humidity changes affect their surface coating. I now do seasonal safety checks every spring and fall, testing every system and cleaning every surface. One thing people don't often consider is how medication changes can affect your relationship with your home adaptations. When my doctor adjusted my blood pressure medication last year, I went through a week of dizziness that made even my well-lit, grab bar-equipped hallways feel treacherous.